doing tonight?
Fine.
Good. Does anyone know where these images have came from?
No.
These images were taken from an institution in Serbia. The victims of the institution are among women, men, and children, and they are locked away, neglected, and left behind to be forgotten. How does a society allow such cruel and unusual punishment to take place? It has been in my significant research findings that I have discovered this to be a societal norm. Serbia needs to change this way of life and come face to face with their deep, dark secrets. Tonight I will discuss three main points. The abuse of disabled people in Serbia, institutions and staff in Serbia, and Serbia's family life. There is a significant amount of unfair treatment of disabled people in Serbia. Some children and adults may never leave their beds or cribs, and some are tied down for long periods of time to keep from harming themselves. I have pictures here of children tied down to their beds to keep from harming themselves. Just briefly bring them around and show you all. In this first image, a young girl was tied into a bed during the daytime at Kalina. The reporters came back at nighttime and she was still tied down to her crib. In the picture below, this child is dehydrated and suffers from life-threatening diarrhea, tied into a crib at Kalina. These other pictures, there's a mentally challenged child with Down syndrome, and she's restrained to prevent self-abuse. And pretty much investigators found this as a product of mind numbing, boredom, and lack of human contact. Picture below just shows you the cribs lined up. They've got several cribs, and the ages of the people that are in this crib vary. There's one man who was 21 years old and he looked like he was 9. Lauren Ahern, an investigator for Mental Disability Rights International, said they eat, they go to the bathroom, and they will die in these cribs. The institutions themselves, the buildings, they're tattered and they're falling down. The walls have cracks in them, which causes leaks, causes dampness, wetness. There's asbestos and mold growing on the walls, which is really harmful to their patients. And a picture that I have, this bottom picture is of men huddled around a radiator wearing their winter coats, trying to keep warm. The picture above that was of a man crying because he had spent the last 7 years in this institution. Patients are crammed together in plain rooms, empty rooms with nothing to do, which does not stimulate any of their brain activities, and which controls like their developmental processes and stuff. This picture below is of a teenage boy. He looks like he was about 9 years old, and he's tied to his crib. They are also forced to shower together in big open rooms. This is basically why Serbia is in dire need of newer and bigger institutions, so that there can be enough room for everyone to have a decent living quarters, and also for those places to have certain stimulus to activate their minds. Staff members of these institutions, of course, denied allegations that they tortured retarded children. Human rights groups say that, or stated, that the filthy conditions, contagious diseases, lack of medical care, rehabilitation, and judicial oversight renders placement in a Serbian institution life-threatening for both children and adults. Serbia's family life. Basically, the families in Serbia who have mental retardation in their families and their children, it's an embarrassment to them and pretty much a hassle. They don't want to deal with them. The doctors advise the families to basically stick them in institutions for the rest of their lives, just to forget about them. So what can you do to help children in Serbia and adults in Serbia? You can make a donation to the NDRI. You can also write to the government of Serbia, demand to end the abuse. You can also spread the word online or in person. This will help broadcast the issues of Serbia. You can also volunteer your time or professional knowledge. And if you are wondering about adoption, it's really hard to do. Serbians do not allow non-Serbian citizens to adopt children. Only in a very few cases have they allowed that to happen. As I finish, I would like you to think about how lucky and blessed you are to live in a country that would never allow such profound acts to happen to any person, disabled or not. Although the images I have shown you tonight are disturbing, do not forget them, because as you go home tonight and you lay down comfortably in your bed, there is one more disabled Serbian shoved into a crib, strapped down to railings, unfed, unclothed, and left behind, unloved and forgotten.